the elevation of the finished materials, the sections in the wall that you cut through with the details of the wall, so that you have to show here detail for the wall, similar to what we did for the elements, similar to what we did for the wall section, plus what is the detailing that you want to show here. So that suppose you have what are the order of the material that you have here for your insulation, for your repeated item like ceramic, and then mortar, and then the slab that is made from out of concrete. So that these are important items that you would show. And also, if you do have a suspended ceiling like this, you have to show it in addition to draw the suspended element or the suspended wires or suspension wire that connect this to that. So this is what is needed, plus the fixed furniture, fixed element that should be shown in here. Now, of course, if you look at this detail that connects the slab to the wall here, it's missing. I don't want to see something like this. I want to see clear connection similar to what we have in our wall sections and section that we just explained. So the repeated items, one of the things that I just want to show you, talk about this is ceramic. And I think I posted a small detail, a video after finishing last time. I showed you where to get the ceramic from. So if we go to insert and then we go to load family, we have detail items, and this is the US Imperial unit. We go to finishing in 9. And we have tiling, we have ceramic tile, we have one for the vertical, one for the horizontal, and we can import it to our project. And if you want to make it repeated, what you can do is just you pick, and I edit this, but you can go to an annotate, and then similar to what you did, you suppose you did already, repeated detail component. And once you place any component in your project and you want to just change it, this drop down menu will have all of the items that you just import in your project as components. So that you have here tile section, but these are in inches, because last time I told you that I didn't see it in my metric system. But look in your library, maybe you find it in the metric system. When we did our sections, we said for repeated items, we said, let me just pick this and then go to edit. We said pick this available space, but for some reason, some items need to have fixed distance from each other. And the way I define the distance between them is from the numbering here. So that this 12 inches is representing about 30 centimeters, and I put here 30 centimeters so that they are apart from each other. Just each material is joined butt to butt from the following element. So if we make this just according to the previous fill available space and apply, because now it's defined based on the dimension that I have here. But if you just make it, fix fill available space, and you see that there are distance between them, just make sure that it's better to go to the fixed distance and look up what is the dimension of the material, and then adjust this number based accordingly, so that you feel like you get no distances between the material. Let me just explain this one more time for you regarding the, like, suppose now I'm taking this and I'm editing the type, I'm duplicating that. I will just make flooring, and I will call it wood flooring. And I said okay. So from that, for here, I'm looking for a wooden section, wooden detail that I have imported in my drawing here, so that I see here I have different wood strip flooring, and this is 19 by 100 millimeter. And if I for this, if I hit OK and then I start to draw it, well, that is because I did not change it. I didn't duplicate it actually. Just edited this what I have here. There is a distance between them, and this distance doesn't make sense, because once you have that, it's supposed to be just joined completely to each other. You can edit the type and then look for fixed distance between them, and in here, since this is 100 millimeter, and then you convert it to you can adjust this based on centimeters, so that, or meters, so that you can say the distance, fixed distance 0.1, apply, so that they are joined completely to each other like this. So this is the detail regarding the ceramic, or the detail regarding the wooden floor that you have. So that you have to adjust the layout based on the description that fits you. Also, make sure that once you do the section, once you do the detail, look at the proper section that you want to show. That will be your final drawing and final plot, so that if you decide to go with 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, make sure that you are making your drawing in up to this scale, so that this will be adjusted. Pay attention that if you're having your wall section, your elevation, and then if we, one of the other thing that we want to talk about is if you go to your floor plans and pick the wall that shows the elevation in it, which is this wall, and if you go to the edit type, you would see these are the layers, and I put here ceramic tiles. Because this ceramic tile is the facing element for me in my cross section, so this will show up as an elevation. So that if I pick this as ceramic tile, I have to go to adjust my scale, not in the cut pattern, but the surface pattern. This surface pattern, I have to adjust my scale for that, so that if I go here and then edit, I want to know what is my spacing. Because suppose now I did like here 40 millimeter by 40 millimeter for the scale of 1 to 10, and I hit OK, apply, OK, and then I go to my section and my call out, so that in the call out it shows up as 1 to 10 here. If I change the scale, it changed it for me here, so that because the hatching will be changing, so that make sure that you pick what is your current or the targeted scale that you will plot or print your drawing based on, and adjust the tiles of the ceramic tiles of the width area based on, so that it will show up to me if I make a dimension for it. But of course I won't make a dimension. I'm just giving you an estimation here. It's about this scale for me, so that you have to understand what scale you are drawing your elevation with, so that once you are sure about your scale here, you have to adjust your hatching so that your tiles look make sense. Don't make hatch that is too tiny and it's not representing a pattern of ceramic or something like this. And this is also repeated item for as a suspended ceiling. The way I get it also, you can go to components, and this is if we are just importing a component or insert load family, and you can go to detail item. And as I said to you last time, this detail item is huge. It's a library that is very big. It does have many things in it, so that it does have plumbing fixtures, for instance. So these are sections in the plumbing, in the fixtures in your building, so that you can go to whatever you want and look it up and then discover it. And if you want to enrich your section again and again, it's up to your what quality you're targeting. So here for this finishing, I get to tiles. No, not finishing. I get to ceilings, acoustic ceilings, and I look up the suspended ceiling like this. And once I load it, it loads up to my project with different dimensions. It's not just one dimension; it's several dimensions. So that, and then once you pick it and then load it, it will be loaded in your library. If you need to make repetition of it, what you need to do is just you go to annotate, and you go also again to repeat detailing components. And once you have it here, you just duplicate because you don't want it to pick existing thing and load it for you. So just duplicate and make new one. And then you look it up here, you will find it here. We have suspended acoustic ceiling, and these are different dimensions. And since I made it in the US system, it shows up to me in inches, so that you can take the US the metric system in order to have it shown to you in metric system. So these are the thickness and the 2 dimension of it, because it's basically tiles. Those are 2 tiles, the dimension of the tile. And then once I take it and I start to draw it, it just draws it for me. If you also want to go to annotate, detail component, load family, the same detail items, you have one for the suspension. You have different elements for the suspension ceiling. So finishes, and you go to ceiling, acoustic ceiling, you have here wire, you have angles, you have double T or suspension T section that can hold the your ceiling. So this is like a T section that hold that the tiles will be on top of it. Or you can go to, if you didn't like any of those, what you can do is just you go to metals, and you have cold form metal framing. You have different types of channels, angles. You can put it and flip it after, so that you can use this one. You can use whatever one as a suspension for the ceiling for you. Also, one of the things that we can do is that if we decide to make a suspension ceiling like this, and we want to just don't want to make the ceramic going up to the floor here, because here we think about it this way: we're not making drawing for architectural presentation, we're making drawing for actual construction. So that here it's expensive for me to just make the ceramic continuous, given that I'm hiding portion of it. So what's the point of making this ceramic? So that I can use this masking region, and I can go to make it similar to what we showed last time, and make sure that these lines are invisible for me, and mask it. So here, the ceramic is just stopping at the edge of the suspended ceiling, and then here we have our mechanical system going to make ventilation for the bathroom or something like this. You cannot do this regarding the wall section, because the wall is just a wall which is layered from both sides. Or the other way around is to make paint, similar to what we had before, so that you can go to manage, to modify, but you have to pick your wall, and then you have to paint it using this tool, so that you pick what's ceramic and then you start to put it here. But I prefer the first method because it's more accurate, so that in your actual layer you are putting ceramic as a face, so that it shows up like this. What else? So just I want to give you something regarding the shop drawing. So if we are talking about the shop drawing here, the contractor will take this drawing and add one more details for it, or one more refinement for it, so that he would tell where the ceramic should start. Because you want to have, if you are starting something like this, you want to ask yourself, would the labor start the ceramic tiles as this way, or you want to have a clean one? That is, if suppose this is 40 by 40 centimeters, would he start the 40 by 40 centimeters from here, and then make it go up till it hit the suspended ceiling, and then stop? Or you want to make the clean one here, and then it goes down up, it hit the floor with a portion of the ceramic tile. So that pay attention here. Once we have to know what is the dimension that we're targeting. I'm just giving you this for elaboration, not just for things that you want to do. Because if you're hatching, there's no way to adjust the hatching, but if you can do this as drafting in your sheet. But I mean, like, this is extra detailed. I'm just explaining stuff for you. So this is about 3.4, and then let's say that the ceramic is 40 centimeters. So that if you divide 3.4 by 40 centimeters, you would get 8.5. So that tells you that half of the ceramic will be embedded just towards the bottom or towards the top. Because if you start from the bottom as clean, you will go up with 8 blocks till here you will have 8.5. Or the other way around, you start from here and then go down to 3.5. And this is up to the contractor, and actually not the contractor, up to the architect to decide. Because it will make very huge difference if you decide on, suppose you have coloring, suppose you have different things. This is a shop drawing level, shop drawing. So that it tells what is the sequence, what are the order of these tiles, how they will look alike. So that one of the options also is that you can make your suspended ceiling going up, so that at the end of the day you will have perfect lighting in this case. So this, I'm just giving you some stuff of how these things are decided. So something like this, so that in here you have clean one on top, but here also is something that you have to decide on what is the overall distance, how many tiles I have, and how many tiles I can fit complete tiles without breaking any tiles or taking a portion of the tile to fill in my space. And also you can think about this, think about it in this sense as well. What is the dimension here that I want to fill my ceramic in, and how it looks like. If I go to the elevation from the or the section from the other direction, I would answer these problems again for myself. So suppose I have a section here. I get it in the wrong one. I want to get this. So this is also my elevation in my wet area. How they look like. If I have a partition in the middle, what is the adjustment of the ceramic? Do I want to make a neat one in the middle and then go left and right, and then have a portion of it or a piece of it, a small piece of it on the left and a small piece of it on the right? So this is also should be answered. If I have a light partition, it's better to treat the space as one, because the light partition is just a partition that you fix after putting your ceramic. But if you have a rigid partition formed from bricks, you do that before putting the ceramic, so that you have to think about those are two different spaces. As a partition here, and this you treat this as one space, and you treat the other one as one space. So here, I take this and I edit the type of my floor. My outer layer here is soft lumber. I can adjust it to ceramic because, and then give it the hatching so that it will show up for me perfectly. The other thing that we did is just previously we separated this wall, separated this floor, and then paint on top so that it will give us different material compared to the neighbor slab. Or some of you decided to make two slabs adjacent to each other to give this material. The problem with the painting that you have is, let me just pick this again. Some of you have this problem, and you go to paint and paint and take the material that is there and then put it. Now the problem of if I go to the materials and look for the ceramic, if I decide to put ceramic as my finished material, the ceramic type, I want to make sure that the hatching of it or the pattern of it is draft, not model. Because model, if you pick a model and then make drainage in your bathroom like this, the hatching will not be aligned with the view, so that it will be diagonal here and diagonal there. It will be broken according to the drainage line. So that make sure that you have your draft you have your hatching in draft, not in model, so that in order to have a continuous a neat pattern similar to this drawing.